Hey everyone, thank you for joining the podcast this week. We have some very special guests from the surprising hit, I shouldn't say surprising, it's a hit animated series on Netflix. It's Voltron, Legendary Defender, and it's crazy because this just premiered in 2016 and it's on season 4 now, which is crazy and intimidating.
They chug these things out.
We're overachievers.
Yeah, then Netflix is just like, just take the money, just keep making great stuff. So if you guys could introduce yourself to our audience, that would be awesome, and just say hello.
Where are they?
They're inside this little box.
They're in there? Okay, hi. My name's Rhys. I play Karan in Voltron.
Hi, I'm Bex. I play Pidge in Voltron.
And I'm Blake, and I play Matt in Voltron as well.
So right out of the gate with this series, it had to be something when you look at a property that's been around and has such a rabid fan base from years before. Are projects like that ever intimidating to you guys? And at what point did you look at something like, look at the script or read the script for the first time and say, okay, this is good quality, I'm excited to be involved with something like this?
Personally, it's only intimidating if I realize that it should be intimidating, and I'm clueless, so usually it just goes over my head.
Yeah.
You're wearing a Voltron shirt. Like, was that a purchase you made before?
Actually, the Let's
job?
Voltron podcast gave it to me as a gift at Comic-Con, and I was like, this is awesome.
That's really.
We're wearing it.
Yeah.
Yes, you are blessed for that, for sure.
I am.
So what I thought was cool about the voice cast, you guys and a lot of the other people on there, is there's a lot of people I recognize from live action stuff, which is not totally common with like animated kid stuff. So like, was that a decision they made from the start of it? We're going to get people who we recognize from live action acting in here, or did that just sort of happen?
Well, I'll take this one.
Yeah,
if you
go
don't
for
mind. I think it was on purpose. Yeah, I mean, when you look at animated films, more and more they're putting names in there. They didn't have to, and I think now specifically for movies, it helps sell them. Does that mean they're going to do the same for television? I don't think so. But in this case, it was a recreation of something that was so iconic and they decided it was going to be more comedic, and that it was going to have to really spark interest in a younger generation, not so much just the older guard that watched the old Voltron and go, oh, I barely remember it. But so I think putting a lot of personality into this one via actors that they knew helped. That's just speaking for myself, but and also I'm odd. I'm an odd choice. It was an odd role.
You're a perfect choice.
I think that.
Karan Hieronymus Wimbledon Smythe.
Yeah.
I think that is for sure the thing, because I don't, unless I like secretly somehow auditioned for it, I think they kind of gave me the part, and I was like, "Are you sure?" Because you're like making me the smart scientist, and that's not me at all, really. So I was kind of like, "Oh, that's an interesting choice," but I think I'm just coming to terms that I have a naturally very nerdy voice, so. That's why they cast it. Really listen.
I think
very
also,
nasally.
like forming Voltron itself, it's like combining these great parts, and I think they thought about that from the beginning, and that in terms of getting the right voice actors was a real selection as well. It wasn't just the list of who are the most popular voice artists, or who are the cheapest, or who's doing the most.
Voltron is the philosophy.
Well, I know that
and
the
show.
audition process took a long time. I was with friends of mine were auditioning for several months, and they would be on and off, and it was definitely a struggle to find who they wanted to be the Paladins. I think they made some pretty good choices.
Oh, they nailed it.
And the show actually, like, it sets itself apart so well, aside from the animation, which is beautiful, the comedic aspects to it, like the action's great and stuff, but when the Paladins are like hanging out, having a good time, like it comes across really naturally. And we've had voiceover actors on the show before, and I think it varies from time to time. A lot of people do recording solo, a lot of people do it with other people in the room, but they're not doing it at the same time. What is the process like when you guys go in to record a season of this? Is it like mutual? Are you in there together and riffing off of each other, or?
Ultimately, that's what they want to happen. It's what we all want to happen, is to be in the same room at the same time.
We've been
Unfortunately,
pretty fortunate that it happens more often than we expected.
absolutely, and it happened more. I think in the first season and the second one, I seem to be lately. There's been less of that, but that's the downside to choosing people that are also working in other things. Is that we are splitting up and doing other things and then coming back in. But I think compared to other animated shows, I think we're in there more than other shows. I think you can see the chemistry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we also, as you said, we had those first 2 seasons to really get to know each other.
Yeah.
So that I think that's one of the reasons that it makes it easier for us to be apart.
Yeah, you know, it really, the characters, it was cast so well, because when we're in there, it felt like, and these people were the Paladins for the first time, and we really were, even in the show, they didn't really know each other. They were forced together, and they were like we were. And I mean, I was, asleep for 10,000 years, and in real life, that's me, and I just suddenly appear.
You had a lot to pull from.
Have to deal with stuff. So it just felt like real life.
Yeah.
It mirrored what was going on.
Yeah.
And then we found
I came about recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel good about that.
Lost in space somewhere.
Yeah.
And you're so lost in
I was
space.
lost in space, and I am just finding myself. Finally, feels really natural.
And then, like, another one of the questions that constantly comes up is whether or not you guys work together on doing the takes that are written and then possibly doing riffs on the side, because it does seem like the comedy is great and as it's written is amazing, but is there ever an opportunity to kind of explore your characters and what they would do in that certain situation without abiding completely by the script?
That comes about when we're all in the same room.
Yeah.
But look, the writing is so good
Yeah.
that we very rarely improvise. And I know it looks like we're improvising sometimes, especially my character, because there's so much space jargon. But yeah, it's the writing. And the only improvisation we would do generally would be, maybe adding a few words here and there, or getting the lines wrong, and then you can hear them go, actually, that was quite good. What did you go with that?
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that. I think it would be kind of, at least speaking for like my character and stuff, to like actually do improv with like the scientific
stuff.
language. Just start making stuff. Galra.
Yeah.
Zordak? I don't know.
It's really fun when you get when we get like those scientific fake words that haven't existed in the show yet, because we could pronounce it wrong and no one would know.
Yeah.
Makes it real easy. And then it's
However
canon.
we pronounce it, exactly. It's canon now.
Forever throughout time, you have named this.
pronounced.
There's often, moments of, can you remind me how I pronounced that last week?
Yeah. And then the development for this show, as you were saying, you were auditioning for a while for it, so the development must have been crazy. When you finally got pulled into the show, what kind of animatics were you able to look at when you first started? Like, were you able to see full sequences of how they would look or how your characters would look and feel?
No, I don't think so. We saw
Our characters, we saw like what the characters were going to look like on a poster board, and that
was it?
basic
That's it.
drawings.
Wow. We didn't, not until ADR when things started going. That was like a year later.
I think we all went back and looked at the original for a little bit, which helped. Me, not at all. But some of the other people,
Me, not at all.
And your character's quite different too. In fact, maybe only Hunk is slightly similar. I don't know.
Yeah, for the most part, that
can't
seems
even
to be the
remember
only. Princess is totally different.
Well, I watched, I looked at the original and the Koran character, and I just, like, God, this guy's really boring. What's going on? I'm not
You learned what not to do.
So I called them up and said, look, that guy's boring.
Yeah.
And they said,
call
"Oh,
him?"
We'll change it. Yeah, no.
Fight to the death.
Yes.
But what was
see
the
that.
timeline like here? Because
I
the
should
4
say he wasn't
seasons in.
Because I know the guy. I know the actor.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. He's a legend. Actually, a voice legend. So I've met him.
And you'll have a ton of people online being like, I
Yeah.
can't believe that he
I
just
can't believe you said that.
Stabbed him in the back.
Yeah.
No, I love him.
It's not his fault the character was written boring.
Yeah,
Blame it on those faceless writers.
yeah.
So you said a year later for ADR. Like the timeline of the show is crazy. Like we said, 4 seasons in 2 years. So like, were you already back in the studio recording season 2 before the first one was up? Like, how did that work exactly?
I have no sense of timeline
Yeah,
either.
it's really
No,
weird.
it's gone now.
We just recorded and recorded and recorded constantly. We had no idea, what was going to be split up into season 1 or whatever. So yeah, there was just such a process of creating it that we were quite a few scripts ahead, and before season 1 came out. So that's been the way of it. So yeah.
And what's it been like working with DreamWorks and Netflix on this? Because it shouldn't be a surprise anymore that Netflix is a hugely dominant platform.
Yeah.
But as far as cartoons go, like you have like BoJack Horseman and Voltron and stuff like that. Did it ever strike you as odd as like, hey, the show's out today, and then within a couple of hours, people are like, I already watched the whole first season.
Oh, yeah.
What? Explain this, and this.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's just the nature of the way people are consuming entertainment now. Just being able to binge watch anything and just knock it all out. But I will say I love Netflix. They're the best to work with. They seem to be super cool, like creatively, and really letting projects flourish in their own ways for sure.
And was it the same with DreamWorks? Were they pretty open to the idea of making the show exactly what it should be and making it the best that it could be?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, only DreamWorks could make this, I think, because it's an innovative new direction for Voltron, but they got it so right that, the old guard again, would watch it, but they'll be watching it with their kids. And then you've got this new generation who don't even know about the old show, and all of a sudden it's just a huge hit for them. And that's weird that a new show out of nowhere would be this big.
Yeah.
But it's the way they made it.
And the animation style it's crazy how intricate and well done it is, because you see a lot of shows, whether they're for kids or even adults that are out currently or currently releasing, where you look at it and it's very like blocky and it seems like flash animation or whatever. And this feels like a show that was animated in the 80s or early 90s. Like, it
Feels
has
expensive and time consuming.
and maybe that's why the timeline is so crazy. But yeah, I got a lot of like really nostalgic vibes from just the animation, specifically like your character, like simple stuff like the mustache twirl and stuff like that was just like, it
When the
felt like
chibis show
flourishes
up.
that didn't really, because you're so used to watching shows now that don't have that kind of
Yeah.
extra animation to it. And it seems like stuff like that, simple things, really stand out in this show, because this generation, I would assume, is not as used to seeing something like that unless they're watching an actual anime or like a Miyazaki film or
We
something.
were talking about that earlier with when you first see Allura.
Yeah, how it like really goes into that anime style or whatever. But I think it is like super important for, if you're gonna bring Voltron to the table, it's got to look cool. Because even
Yeah.
as like I was a kid, I was kind of like on the tail end of the Voltron train. I don't know if I ever saw an episode, but still like the images from that cartoon were so like ingrained in me. I remember the lines. I remember like the robot coming together and the animation just being so radical. So I think it's cool that they actually took time with it and made it look cool, because if they didn't, I think a lot of people would be pretty disappointed.
Yeah, and a lot of people were not disappointed at all, because the ratings, reviews, and the
100%.
fan reaction was immediately like super supportive, super like crazy fandom, everyone wanting more, wanting to know when the next thing is. Even like I said, 4 seasons already, and people are like, all right, season 4. Okay, when's season 5? We've heard rumors, season 5, February. Is that?
To be fair, I told all my aunts and uncles, mom and dad, just to log on to Rotten Tomatoes and just write a ton of reviews and make
You've
up
cracked the Rotten Tomatoes code
just
that
a bunch
Hollywood's
of-
been trying to crack.
Tons of fake accounts. It's really easy, actually.
You're gonna get numerous calls today from all the
yeah.
studios like, wait, you've cracked Rotten
Just say
Tomatoes?
a lot of collusion, I'm telling you right now.
We need to get Blake's aunts and uncles on the phone right now.
Yes,
Just the Anderson family.
super supportive.
Do this.
Super supportive.
Our boy.
Yeah.
We did get a bunch of questions off of Twitter from people very curious about the show.
Twitter, a platform that is, for the most part, been toxic for years. and has turned into just a lovely place. As soon
Good
as you
things
mentioned the
can
show
come out of it.
Voltron, it was immediately switch in our mentions of just
they put down the tiki torches and the pitchforks.
and they're like, all right,
and
time to watch some anime.
Nice.
Yep.
First question from AKA Anime. It's a two-parter. Why did you decide to try voice acting? What was the most difficult episode to record? So let's go to the first part first. I'm always curious, like, about the transition from acting into voice acting. Like, if it was, you said you were reached out to for this one, you didn't audition. Had you done voice acting before that?
Yeah, here and there.
Okay.
It's a couple little things. I'd say this is probably like my first, like, major reoccurring where I actually have to have like emotional arcs and not just like a total goofball.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, what's the sort of process of getting into voice acting?
Because it's
from
usually
live action acting.
specifically voice acting in general is a very close knit kind of group of people as well. So, were you working alongside people that were strictly voice actors in this show? Did you learn anything from them? And what was it like? Kind of, I know it's not a different industry, but transitioning into that new kind of role. And what are the differences and challenges that you may have faced?
Growing up, I always wanted to be a cartoon character. I used to just try to mimic everything and be as weird with my voice as I could be. I wanted to be a cartoon character. And so I had the opportunity to do an episode of Robot Chicken, and that was just kind of like, okay, I do love this. How can I do more?
Yeah.
So that was the first part, and the second part was, yes, we work with some amazing voice actors who do this basically, that's it. And so I learned something new every time I go in, from Josh and Kimberly especially. They've just been doing this forever, and they know all the tricks.
It's crazy.
Really cool.
Their voices are weapons. They're like voice samurais. It's insane when you see like pros and you hear them and you're just like, you're so much better than me. It's incredible.
Oh yeah.
It's like
And then
crazy.
there's my voice, which is more like a faulty cushion, but it's unique, and particularly here in the States. And so I think, combined with my comedy talent, I was reached for as well. And I was like, I hoped at some point I would be working in cartoons. So this was,
So, Rhys,
Great.
I've seen your stand-up, and you do a lot of sound effects as well. Have you been able to sort of...
I've done a few laser guns on this show. Yeah. I mean, in episode 4 of the season 4, where I'm sort of in charge of the theatrics of the team. I'm like managing the what would you call it? The display of promotion of Voltron, and I do some laser gun noises to try and bring down an imaginary alien.
Yeah.
And Bex, there was a lot of response to your performance in episode 2 of season 4. What was it like? Because with what you'd consider normal acting, you have people on set and someone to react to the entire time. What was it like putting yourself in an emotional state in a sound booth? And what did you find challenging, or something cool that you were able to finally do inside the booth?
All of that was something cool that I was finally able to do inside the booth. Honestly, Andrea pulled something out of me I didn't really know was in there, and I'm really proud of how it turned out. Also, for most of it, I had the opportunity to, of course, we did like baseline emotion stuff, and then when we went in ADR, we saw what it was going to look like, and that, of course, changes everything.
Yeah.
So having the opportunity to, work with Andrea and see what was happening for the character, just heart-wrenching.
I teared up during that episode.
Really?
Yeah, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Hey guys, quick break from the Voltron podcast to thank this week's sponsoring advertiser, World of Warships from Wargaming. Ever wonder what it might be like to captain some of the greatest warships of World War II?
Yes.
Then be sure to check out World of Warships, Elliot. It's the free-to-play, historical, online combat game from Wargaming.
So with World of Warships, you will command a massive naval fleet featuring some of history's most iconic war vessels, and with 4 classes of ships from over 8 nations fighting in strategically designed environments, every match is a unique experience. Pew pew! World of Warships brings players endless hours of strategy, tactical gameplay, and pulse-pounding naval combat action.
Download World of Warships for free today at commandwarships.com. That'll begin your naval adventure, and also you get a code. ETC17, all caps, ETC17. You can't capitalize numbers, but you should try. ETC17.
No.
Enter that code. When you download it, you'll get a ton of bonus content just for checking out this podcast. You're going to get a free premium ship, the famous cruiser Aurora, and a pile of in-game currency to jumpstart your epic World War II naval experience. Just download World of Warships today at commandwarships.com. Enter code ETC17. Start playing. You know what? I bet a lot of countries wish they had that in-game currency to start their World War II battle.
I bet they wish, yeah.
Yeah. Well, now you have an
You get
advantage.
that. Yeah.
Thanks to us. Let's get back to a war in space with the Voltron cast.
Spoopy Jules at Julie Marie 7. What type of music would your characters listen to?
Wow. Interesting.
Hey.
Teenage Koran.
Yeah, I mean, there's different phases of Quran. Definitely, as a teenager, it would be hard rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm talking sort of Led Zeppelin, that kind of stuff. As he got older, and I think where he stands now, it may be a bit more into bluegrass.
Is this just coinciding with your tastes in music right now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Now that's canon. So there you
Now
go.
that's canon.
Add it to the wiki.
Add that to the wiki, man.
Yeah. And how about your character? What would Pidge listen to?
I like that question a lot, actually. I think Pidge probably grew up with like Tom Petty,
Hey, there you go.
and Sam
RIP.
probably loved like all that old classic stuff, and so she's always got that. But she's got an eclectic taste.
Does she have like the one cassette that her dad and brother left behind?
Oh yeah,
She
she's got a
plays lot?
mixtape that they made one year for a road trip.
Just to remember.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
straight up. We did it
got,
before
like-
Guardians
They
of
couldn't
the
get the-
Galaxy.
Couldn't get the
That's
rights, but
one.
it's jammed.
Before it was cool.
Yeah,
Every
right.
fight.
Star
the
Lord,
volume up.
come on.
I think that she's got at least one Tegan and Sarah song in there. Just slide it in.
Heck yeah.
Shouldn't everyone?
Right?
And I
part of
think in the
everything.
same regard, Matt also listens to some Tegan and Sarah because
Hell yes.
I just sneak in her room and be like, "Oh, who's Tegan and Sarah?"
Mm-hmm.
Pop that in. I actually like it. But other than that, probably some weird like space symphony that nobody's really ever heard of, but like it's like a math rock and you gotta like really listen. It's
Godspeed You
yes.
Black Emperor. And
Yeah.
just jamming that the entire time.
You gotta
All
listen to the
day.
whole thing.
Yeah, it's a concept album.
yeah,
You have
it's
to
a
front to
story,
back.
and you're
Yeah.
just skipping through tracks. You're missing chapters.
So which one should I start with? The first track, obviously.
the intro.
That's how the artist wanted you to hear it.
And be naked
Matt
and
would
in the
totally say
dark
that.
when you listen to it.
With a candle lit.
Headphones on the ground staring.
Yeah.
Angel, Ride or Die Studio, asks a question for Blake. In what ways are you similar to Matt personally? And are there any funny outtake stories that you have from recording?
In what way? I'm very not similar for sure.
That's what you were saying earlier, like, kind of like the opposite, yeah.
Matt is really a bookworm smarty pants, but I guess the places where I was able to like access real memories or whatever, like I have a younger sister, so in approaching the relationship with Pidge, I could definitely like identify with that and like what it might be like to not have that person in your life for a very long time and be reunited. So in that way, being the older brother, I am very similar to Matt. So I guess that.
And then I guess in general for all of you guys, is there any times where you've been, I guess, together in the studio and had outtakes that, how do they release bonus features for Netflix? Do they just put
They
it out on
don't.
the internet?
They're
Is
gonna
that-
figure it out.
They've got it.
Are there cutting room floor things that
There'll
you
be
guys...
a lot of stuff, trust me.
Yeah.
Every time I'm in there, there's so many takes that,
Just go horribly, horribly wrong.
yeah, are just crazy.
Foam Voltron.
Oh yeah, I say Galra every time, and it's Galra, right?
Yeah,
It's
It
Galra.
is. Yeah. Oh man, I've been told that so many times. You said Galra. Yes, I did. Shoot. I know.
They have a full compilation
Yeah.
of you saying it wrong.
Galra, Galra.
Galra.
Yeah.
I sometimes have big speeches, and I'll start off with a lot of gusto, and and then I'll get almost to the end, and then run out of
Energy.
Gusto.
Breath.
like I just have now.
That's a good
Yeah,
example.
with Pidge, she'll go on this rampage of just science after science after science. And every time I get tongue-tied, it just turns out. There's so
Yeah.
many tracks of just
That's the compilation for
That's
sure.
the one.
And with like just saying that, like with not knowing how they put bonus features out unless it's on an eventually released DVD or Blu-ray, is it like, I feel like at this point it's not a problem to put anything out on Netflix, like people are already, I guess, have that. Was there any like family members or anything like that that were like, well, I mean, I'd watch your show, but
How do I find?
$11.99 a month for some internet service? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think this Netflix is gonna catch on.
Yeah, I think mom and dad finally came around to getting Netflix, so I'm super hyped on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. I'm pretty sure my mom is religiously watching Voltron
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
My grandmother actually does watch Voltron. She keeps
does?
up with it. She still thinks that my character's name is Twerp, which makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's adorable.
It's adorable. The last film I was in, she kept calling it Muffin. That's not what
I
it's
feel like she
called.
just chooses these names. She's like, I don't care what the name is.
Nope.
This is what I'm
This
going
is
with.
exact-
That's what's
Exactly.
cool about becoming a grandparent. You can do
do whatever you
the
want.
hell you want.
Get away with
Yeah.
it.
Grandparent.
Yeah, but they don't care.
There's a new set of rules once you hit like 70,
Yeah.
and everything's fine.
Yeah. I am your whole family tree. I'm the seed, mother effer.
You get to
Don't
wear
tell me.
shirts like, I'm 70, don't ask me to
I
do
want
a
to give my
damn thing.
grandparents a shirt that says, I'm the seed, mother effer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Seed that birthed this tree.
Well, it's good to know, like Netflix now has proof that you've created new accounts, you're bringing money into it. So there you go. You've hijacked Rotten Tomatoes. You've hijacked Netflix algorithm.
I'm a company man. What can I say?
You're a workaholic.
Always.
Here's a question
yeah.
from Zan.
Zan.
At I'm a computer. Oh, I like that reference. Yeah. What are your opinions about fandom in general? Is there something you guys don't like about it and would like to change? This is a topic we talk about a lot, about how, on the one hand, it's awesome that we're all basically getting everything we've ever asked for with entertainment, but on the other hand, it can go a little too far
Yeah,
with
and
the internet. And
earlier when you guys were talking
people
about, like,
feeling ownership.
how rabid the fan base is for this, and especially it's now growing every season. What's it like immediately having something like that that you go to conventions and it's just this massive thing that you're no longer in control of? Is it intimidating? Is it fun? What's your opinion of like being involved in a show that's this big and successful?
Can we make fun intimidating a word?
Yes.
Yeah.
Intimidating.
Fun intimidating.
As of today,
It's fun
put it on the
intimidating.
wiki.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's fun intimidating.
I think it's as intimidating as you want it to be. So if I don't choose to look at my phone and just carry on with my life with my wife and kids, and there's nothing there. But as soon as I get amongst it, and if I was to search and look for things and read all the fan mail that's in my front room, I would feel obliged to, really. And I am proud. And so you can really get amongst it, or you can sort of dabble. I think it's probably. I mean, you're a big fan of the show. I think she
am
would
a
go
big
to
fan of
the what do you call it? Not
Conventions?
Convention, and line up, wouldn't you,
Oh, I
to
totally
get a
would.
signature?
Totally would. Not even ashamed.
Yeah.
The show is awesome.
Which is cool. It is. It's so cool to be part of something that we are all fans of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because I've been in shows where that I wouldn't watch. I think we've all done that. We won't list those shows, and those shows didn't last. But yeah, it's the fans are the complete foundation of the whole thing. If they're not there, it all falls over. So it's about them, and yeah, we're amongst them. We're super fans. I buy the toys. I've got my boys are obsessed with the show, and they're proud that I'm in it. And
Do they ever have your action figure and start
no,
acting
there's no
like
action figure for my character.
No?
It's
Working on it.
What the hell, DreamWorks?
Come on, give him an action figure.
Have you guys ever
not that popular.
walked into someone cosplaying
Lies.
as your character? Has
Yes.
that happened yet?
And she gave me this.
Oh, is
that's
that what
really
you
cool.
oh.
It's they started walking around with Pidge sprouts
That's
after
awesome.
she became the Forest Paladin. So, I love these. They're fun to
Yeah.
play with.
Yeah. I feel like my character is just kind of starting to
Yeah.
hit
Become
this
a meme
wave.
lord?
Ever since season 4 has come out, I'm starting to get way more like Twitter response and stuff like that. So I'm excited to dive in and see what these little Voltron freaks are all about. I'm ready.
And then once they're
Be
like,
careful.
oh,
I
this,
will.
Man, this Blake guy, he's really good. I should check
What
out the
else
other
has he
stuff he's done. And like a 15-year-old going, let me check out Workaholics.
I'm telling you, coming from that fan base, I pretty much am prepared for anything. I was basically in a frat base.
Yeah.
you know, so I'm
So
down to take
you're-
some Jaeger shots with these Voltron kids. If they're old enough. Are they old enough? What is the age of these?
It depends what country you're in.
Well, that's the thing.
okay.
I
Yeah,
feel like
it's
it ranges
interesting.
from like 8 to 80.
Okay, cool.
See, that was the thing is like when I watched the show, it was like, okay, this is awesome. Like this is written well enough for anyone of any age to enjoy, and then also like you could imagine kids as young as 8 just being like, wow, they're getting into lions and forming a giant robot and fighting things. This is awesome.
There's
as well.
many levels, and that's the secret to a successful show, I think.
Yeah.
And I have been in a successful show as well, another one, or 2, but you know, who's counting? But I think, but all those successful shows have those levels, so that's not just one demographic.
Yeah. And I think like audiences these days can smell when a show is not putting forward 100% because there are so many options in media. It's just like, okay, well, this wasn't done to this precise thing that I have in my head. On to the next one. And it seems
Yeah.
like with this show, it's been done completely right, and that's why the audience has latched on to it.
And another reason, honestly, is representation. Is kids feel like they're seeing themselves, and then they can project how they feel onto these characters, whether it's canonical or not. It's really amazing to see the feedback from the fans being like, I see myself in this character in a way I've never seen myself on screen before. And I think that's a beautiful thing that DreamWorks is providing, is having these heroes so accessible.
Yeah.
And have you ever had that conversation with a fan at a convention or in real life where they come up and say how this show has helped them or inspired them? Do you have any stories about that happening? Or
So many young girls coming up and being like, Pidge is awesome. I want to be like her. I want to be that smart. I want to be Pidge.
And how does that make you feel as an actress to like have that out there in the world and have people look up to you in that way?
Really good. Like that's one of the things I want to do as an actor is provide a voice for the voiceless,
Yeah.
or for those who feel like they're voiceless. Because growing up, I always wanted a Pidge. I never really had one.
Yeah.
Now I've got one, and I get to be one.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, really special for kind of the new generation to have some of the things that we didn't, some of the representation we didn't. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Very cool. Space Queen at Invisible and what would you name the cute fluffy aliens from the trash pile?
Murder floofs.
Wow,
That was okay.
They're murder floofs.
you've been sitting on that one.
Oh yeah,
murder floofs.
they're murder floofs.
She's been talking about that a lot today, I'm telling you.
And you were saying earlier that like that you frequently come up with, or the writers come up with new words that are now exist in our universe because of the show. Like, what are some examples of words that you maybe use outside of the show because of the show?
Quiznak.
Yeah, obviously Quiznak. The cow, what's the cow called?
Colton Ecker.
Yeah, become quite a cult favorite.
Colton
Yeah.
Ecker.
I think someone was
Naked,
asking about
yeah.
that as well. Like, if you, what would you name the horse?
Horse.
Yeah, or a horse. If you got a horse.
Oh,
We need
horse
it.
or-
Okay, so Colton Ecker's our line producer. We need another crazy named crew member.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So they're named after people who work on the show.
It's an homage.
Ah,
It's an
okay.
homage to Benjamin Colton Ecker.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Right? So good.
Yeah. What is that, Dutch?
No clue.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not gonna try.
It's probably made up.
It's from another world.
It's like Tom Cruise.
He's in the
It's
witness
all his
protection
own.
program, and you guys are ruining
He
it.
changed his name to that specifically so someone would be like, hey, that's a cool name. We should.
Joe Bosch's. That's another word. It's
Tick.
time. Yeah.
Way
What
to
was the
tick.
new
what's
swear
the
word
new-
that was that you guys were talking about?
Ruggle.
Ruggle.
One of the rebels said, "What the ruggle is that?"
Yeah, I'm about to throw that one around.
Yep.
Around the house.
Yeah.
Whenever I have to not use curse words, I'm gonna start using Quiznak, Ruggle,
Teledove, that comes out quite a bit.
Yeah. That's a good
one.
Yeah, you
Well,
need
it's great
one of
because
those.
now kids can get around their parents
Yeah.
and swear in new and
You
exciting
do the
ways.
ruggle dishes.
Awesome. Well, it's good influences all around, whether it's curse words or inclusion. It's awesome. I guess like the last thing that we wanted to talk about was the obvious question that everyone has been asking online is I know that season 4 just premiered, but they're like, well, when's the next season?
When are
Do
you
guys
getting
have
back to work?
any information? Have you recorded? Have you done anything? Is the DreamWorks person looking at you and
I can tell you what's going to happen.
I'm
in
not going to
season
look
5.
over there.
What's the finale of season 5?
Season 5, this is exactly what happens in season 5. More awesome stuff. Yeah.
Well
Spoiler
played.
alert.
Well
You
played.
heard it here.
I'm going to get in trouble.
Well, as far as the timeline goes currently, season 5 premiered probably yesterday because they seem to be cranking these things
Yeah.
out at a very rapid pace.
Yeah.
Well, we just
Yeah.
want to get more stuff
We
to
want to get to
you.
the point where we're releasing a season a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
To keep
what the
up
people
with
want.
the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on season
And they
150.
finish so
It's not
fast.
so hard for us. It's more like the animators are like, what?
Yeah, I'm joking. Yeah, I mean it is amazing that the way they're doing it, and I think it's great. Like, I know there's not many episodes in some of these seasons, but I'd rather have that than wait a year and a half for the next one or whatever. I like because we, as fans, and the fans do as well, because they're fans, rewatch constantly. Like, you've just watched 4 times. She's seen season 4
Season
4
4,
times
only
already.
twice this time.
Oh,
I'm a
twice.
slacker. Usually it's about 4.
Do you look back at some points and go, I wish I would have done that differently? Or anything like, do you like judge yourself based on how many times you've rewatched the seasons?
It's really interesting because I usually, when watching myself, I usually judge the crap out of myself, but not so much with Voltron.
No?
No, I'm usually pretty damn proud.
And then with that was
It's easy when you can't see yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like almost a blessing and a curse sometimes with Netflix because you do get that staggered release with certain things like Game of Thrones or Rick and Morty or something like that, where it's like, hey, we're going to start in June and it'll be fine. We're going to be going till the early October, late September, and it's kind of like drip feeding.
Yeah.
Does it make the fan base I guess more rabid for stuff and more demanding if it's just like, hey, I just watched this today?
I spent 2 straight days, and now there's nothing left.
Like, as someone that watches the show anyway, is that,
I
or
know.
other Netflix shows, is
It
that
seems
ever
that it feeds into like the excitement for sure. I mean, it's definitely like strange working so hard so long on things, like any creative process, and then like the fan base just like devouring it in seconds,
Yeah.
and, or in 2 days or whatever. But yeah, if it feeds the flame of passion,
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Very cool. All right, well, thank you guys very much for coming in.
You guys
And,
got anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, what do you have
before
coming
we
up
sign
there? Anything else aside from Voltron? Because you can already go watch it.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
But once you're done with that,
Game over, man. Next year, Netflix, look out for it. There
So you really do love Netflix.
I
do.
saw that listed. So can you say anything about that yet? I like the title.
It's pretty much Die Hard with workaholics characters.
I'm on board.
That sounds great.
Yeah, sold.
Good
Yeah.
sell.
Yeah,
Such a good
yeah.
sell.
You guys are gonna love it.
What about you, Bex? Anything you want to plug?
Just finished the movie. Don't know when it's coming out yet, so can't do that plug yet.
Keep watching the
follow you
Wikipedia
on
page.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter. You'll see it eventually.
We'll list
It'll
all
happen.
of the Twitter profiles below.
Get the
If
handles.
Rhys chooses to pick up his phone at any point.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Anything else that you're working on now that you can talk about?
I'm touring Canada with some stand-up soon, November.
Ooh.
So
right.
come and check me out. It's with JFL.
You got any werewolf-related plans anytime in the future?
Other than we would love to do that, and I've read some werewolf books, but that's all I can say.
All right, great.
All right, I'll take it.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. And the show's great. So
Yeah.
I think that you'll have a very
Netflix.com.
Netflix.com.
long and arduous journey into more seasons that will probably never end if the show just keeps the trajectory that it's at. So congratulations, I guess it's amazing. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Thank you.